And I want to welcome everybody back to the Prophecy Conference here in Dallas, Texas. And I have an extremely, I don't even know how to say
I'd go easy on the extremely.
No, I wouldn't, because anyway, I've got Mr. Stan Johnson here, and it is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, it is my understanding that you actually are responsible for the fact that we even have this prophecy conference now, because you're the guy that kind of came up with it many, many years ago as a part of the prophecy club. Is that correct?
I have not been told that story.
That's the David Paxton story. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah, I've not been told that story, but I can tell you that I've done a lot of them. Now,
Okay.
This is a 3-day prophecy conference, and I've done 70 what we call Power of Jesus Crusades, which were 9 to noon, 2 to 5, 7 to 10 for 3 days in a row. And the primary thing was to teach people the early baby steps to hear the voice of the Lord, to give a personal prophecy. Then, about 4 years ago, we started doing just typically one a year, although we did 2 the year of COVID. But anyway, and it is called Sevenfold Miracle Crusades, and the purpose of that is to bring miracles in. Now, as far as prophecy, I've been teaching, or I've been studying prophecy 40 years, been doing a radio and sometimes TV program on it for 30 years. I've been on YouTube. That is until they deleted my channel. Now, I had to go back under, it used to be under Prophecy Club. They deleted it when it had 100,000 subscribers. And I started another one under Prophecy with Stan about a year ago, and they are holding it down.
Oh, yeah.
I only have 10,000 subscribers, 11,000. And I don't know how they do it, but they are not. It should be back up to 100,000 or maybe 200,000 now.
Yeah.
But they're shadow banning me somehow.
Yeah, it's all those analytics. You know, they control all that.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they allow on who they want on.
Right.
And the one thing that they don't want on is anybody that has anything to say about
Truth.
God,
Yeah,
about
right.
Jesus Christ.
Here's what you want to hear. Everybody at this conference, and I would say most everybody, if they have their eyes open, their ears on, the thing they want to know is, okay, something's happening, something strange in 2024, like we've never seen before. Everybody feels it in here, Christian or not. What is going on?
Right.
So what I'll do is to attempt to tell you what I think prophetically, it'll take a while, to tell you is about to happen in the world today. And I'll start with the good news.
Okay.
Because the rest of it is not too good. Okay, so the good news is I'm putting it at a 90% chance. Now, did I say this is going to happen? No, I didn't. Did God tell me this is going to happen? No, he didn't. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. But based upon, and I'll explain that, I'm going to give it a 90% chance that before the end of the year, we're about to see the start of the greatest revival in human history. I didn't say America. I said the greatest revival in human history. Now, let me say where that came from. August the 8th of 2015, Saturday night, Lord, what do you want to say for the sermon tomorrow morning? As pretty much every pastor says. Okay, what do you want to say for the sermon tomorrow? I don't have anything to say. And I heard words. I heard the audible voice of God say, this is the time of miracles. He says, as the judgment hits, so will my miracles. Miracles like no one has seen, going all the way back to Adam and Eve. You tell them, I will never leave them nor forsake them.
Right.
And I will meet the devil inch for inch, step for step, pound for pound. Everything he does, I will meet him. Meaning, like, now he didn't say this part, meaning that, like, for example, when the devil comes out with his 10 commandments, God is going to reveal the real Ark of the Covenant with the real 10 commandments in it to refute him.
Right.
Okay, so we have the Antichrist and the false prophet in the temple, and we have what I believe will be Moses and John the Revelator, the 2 witnesses out on the streets of Jerusalem, meeting him. Everything he does, God proves him wrong. That's what he's going to do now.
Right.
Why is the revival going to come this year? Well, let me say it again. I do not know. It is. I've not been told, God, it is. But I think I'm going to be able to show you some things that you'll probably shake your head and say, I want the revival, but I don't want that. Okay, so let's start.
Well, let me back up just for a second. I hope I don't ruin your train of thought here. Basically, what David told me is that you're responsible for the fact that we are having these conferences now, because you're kind of the guy that started this stuff.
Many of them.
You weren't. I'm not going to say the original, but
pretty close.
One of.
Yeah. Pretty close.
You were in on this a long time before a lot of us.
Okay, so I mentioned the Crusades.
Right.
But what we used to do is hold monthly meetings. There was a time when we held monthly meetings in 40 cities all across America. There was about 5,000 people attending our meetings, not each one, but a total of about 5,000 attending our meetings all across America each month. Now, I didn't go to all of them, obviously, but we had MCs, we called them. We had people that would pick up the speaker at the airport in whatever city it was. I mean, Seattle, Portland, Chicago, Oklahoma City, whatever the city was.
Right.
Pick up the speaker, and Prophecy Club flew them in and put up their airfare, their hotel, their meals, and gave them an offering. And then we also advertised on our then radio and TV program and saying, hey, the speaker's coming in to talk. So we have 160 different speakers that have made 330 DVDs, which, by the way, you can watch instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. Watchprophecyclub.com. Now, our website is just prophecyclub.com. Spell prophecy with a C. Prophecy, and you can also download our app. Just go to Google Play or to the App Store and type in Prophecy Club. You can download it. And that way you can listen to what the latest is from me. And if you get a phone call, it pauses it. After the phone call, it starts it again. Now, here's what's coming. So let's back up to April 15th, tax day, in 2002. So this is 22 years ago. My wife, Leslie, which is a prophet. Now, let me tell you about her. So she's given over 5,000 personal prophecies. And as her husband, I don't know of one she's missed. She's written 8 books. She's made 32 2.5-hour DVDs. She does her School of the Prophets. She calls it Train the Prophets, and you can watch that on YouTube and several places, Train the Prophets, traintheprophets.com. Anyway, so 2002, she wakes up and she says, you're going to want to record this. So I got the recorder and I recorded it. Well, here's what she said. She said, the Lord told me last night that Arafat is going to go into the hospital and die there. Now that's where we're going with this is there's 6, as I recall them in this one, 6 specific points to this prophecy. The first one is Arafat's going to die in the hospital. Now, the reason that's so big is because in 2002, Arafat was not allowed outside of his compound. So to put that out on radio and TV and send to all of our best supporters is very, very risky. Nevertheless, 2 years later, 11/11/03, 3:30 in the morning, just like she was told, 11/11/04, excuse me, just like she was told, he died in the hospital. Now, here's the way it works. When God gives a prophecy, it's not part of it is right or part of it is wrong. It's either all right
or all wrong.
Or it's all wrong, okay? So in that she got that first part right, the rest of what I'm about to say is thus saith the Lord. Okay, so then the next one was that Israel will give the Palestinians a state. Remember that. We'll come back and talk about it. Israel will give the Palestinians a state, but it'll be a temporary measure to allow the Israelis time to strengthen their military. Then oil will be discovered in Israel. Massive amounts of oil, and the oil will make the Jews willing to fight for their land and also give them the money to build up their military. Then Israel and America will go against most of the rest of the Arab world. Now, excuse me, that's 2002. Hang on to that. I wish I had it written down here. Wait, I do. Because it'd take me a while to find it in the book here, but it's in there someplace. If I don't find it one flip, then I'll keep going. Did I just find it?
Well, tell everybody.
I did. Wait.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just did.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's written in the book. There, you look at that.
Okay.
And that'll help you to follow me.
Okay. Now where am I starting here?
This is we're right here.
Right here. Okay. Gotcha.
Is that what it said? Arafat would go into the hospital, right? Okay.
Yep.
Now this book was written 7 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. Now, then over here is the next one, where it says, what's the date? Is 2006.
Okay.
Right? Okay. You see that? Okay.
Okay.
And God gave her 7 newspaper headlines, the very words to a newspaper headline of the future that lead to the fall of America. Okay, so the first one was Omer, look at it, Omer ushers in Palestinian state. Okay, well, what's an Omer? Well, there are 49 days between first fruits and Pentecost.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with the feast, then you're about to go cross-eyed and not understand this.
Right.
But the feasts are very, very important because the feasts are a pattern in the Old Testament that lays out how Revelation will be fulfilled in the New Testament. The purpose of the feasts is to show Jesus to the Jews. I don't get that yet. But anyway, Omer ushers in Palestinian state. So it's the 49 days between first fruits. This year, first fruits falls on April the 25th. And Pentecost, which falls this year on June 13th.
Okay.
Now, it's the counting of the Omer, but that says Omer ushers in Palestinian state. So what does that mean? That means that there's going to be a headline if it happens this year, and I'm not saying it happens this year, but I'll give it a 90% chance.
I'll give it higher than that.
I agree.
Because of the fact that I'm hearing right now.
Hang on.
Okay.
I'll get off track here.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Omer ushers in Palestinian state.
Okay.
So that means that there's a high, if it happens this year, it'll happen between April 25th and June 13th. Are you following me? Okay. Omer ushers in Palestinian state.
Okay.
Now, what's the next one? Catastrophe? What is it?
I'm
right here.
Oh, okay. I was still over here.
Catastrophe hits America.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay. You see it right in the book. Okay.
Right.
We got big signs out here. Okay. Shane Warren and 14 other people have had dreams, visions, audible voices, angel visits that all say that if America splits Israel, God will split America. And that split will be the Great Lakes opening up all the way down the Mississippi River Valley, possibly down to either Tupelo, Mississippi, or maybe even all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Depends on how bad God wants to destroy us. Now, there's more to that, but let me skip on. So that means, and what Shane Warren was told is that there will be first an economic storm. He said that the dollar would be devalued and there will be things will start to get really, really expensive. And the thing that starts that is when Saudi Arabia starts selling oil in another currency other than the dollar. That happened August 24th of 2022.
Okay.
Now, it hasn't taken effect yet, but we think very soon the dollar is going to take a 30% overnight, without warning, devaluation. And he says he saw a financial storm, and in the middle of the storm, he said he was told that there's going to be a New Madrid earthquake. All right, now, what is that time? What is the timing? What does that say? Okay, Omer ushers in Palestinian state, if it's this year, says it'll be April 25th to June 13th.
Okay, it's here.
Okay, now, we know that as Israel goes, so goes America.
Right.
So
100%.
if we hurt Israel, we get hurt.
Right.
If we split Israel, God will split America. So if the catastrophe, if the Omer ushers in Palestinian state takes place before June 13th of this year, when would the New Madrid earthquake take place? Do you see it?
I'm going to.
Okay, if you go back, look at John McTernan and several other people who've written books.
Okay.
And every time America turns against Israel, within 24 hours, God hits America.
Is it that fast?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that quick. Okay.
The very next day.
Okay.
Now, I hope it's a week, or I hope it's several years.
Yeah.
But if God does what he normally does, sometime between now and June 13th, the newspaper headline will read, Omer ushers, where's it say? Omer ushers in Palestinian state. Where's it say it? No, right there. Okay, well,
Yeah,
see,
got it.
she heard it. We don't know if it's O-M-E-R or O-L-M-E-R-T.
Okay.
But she heard Omer, so it could be Omer.
Okay.
Omer ushers in Palestinian state. But then the next one is catastrophe hits America.
Right.
That's the New Madrid earthquake.
Okay.
All right, then, one of America's greatest times of need, so America starts hollering for help. Help, 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 we're really devastated. And then what happened? Israel is attacked as sins. Well, I think the next one will be Israel refuses help to America. I do have, tell me I put that in there. Surely I didn't make that much. Oh, there it is. No, Israel refuses help to America. Did I actually leave that out? Oh my goodness. I did. Okay, well, I made a big mistake. Anyway, Israel refuses help to America. Okay. And then chaos reigns as Americans protest help to Israel. Mm-hmm. Israel is attacked. America sends troops. That ties in with here. Now, here's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So sometime between now and June 13th, I'm not saying it happens. Don't say Stan said, okay? I'm saying it does not necessarily, okay, but if this is the year, we may see Omar ushers in Palestinian state. We may see a New Madrid earthquake, and the New Madrid earthquake, according to Shane Warren, is the thing that is the judgment that brings the great miracle revival. So what I'm saying is by the end of this year, we have a 90% chance that judgment has hit America so hard that God has opened up his miracles like no one has seen going back to Adam and Eve. That's the point.
Let me ask you this now, because I don't know what you said about the catastrophe. You were talking about the Great Lakes. Did you see the Great Lakes involved in this, or is that just
I have the testimony of 14 different people.
Okay. The reason I asked that question is because of an
EMT
attack or something.
No, you're talking about suitcase nukes. Now that's a whole other thing.
Okay.
All right. Well, do you want to talk about that?
Oh, well, whatever. I mean, I'm interested in what you got to say because you're the expert here, and I'm trying to get as much as I can.
Okay. That's probably, now did I say it's going to happen? I want to make it clear. I did not say it's going to happen.
Right.
God did not tell me.
Right.
But it's something I'm watching for. Now let's go to suitcase nukes.
Okay.
So back in 1998, we had Stanislav Lunev come and speak to the Prophecy Club. And by the way, you can watch his DVD instantly at watchprophecyclub.com.
Okay.
Same thing, Shane Warren, you can watch his instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. So anyway, Stanislav Lunev made a DVD called Russian Defector Warns America. He was the highest ranking Russian defector to ever defect from Russia to America. And he said, for the Prophecy Club, he told his testimony, he says, I was part of a team that was sent here by Russia to find places to hide suitcase nukes. Now, what's a suitcase nuke? It's a 1 kiloton device. What does that do? Well, it's about a 10-block radius. Everything in that 10-block radius hits 10,000 degrees. So that means concrete, steel, glass, whatever, it's vaporized, okay? And then because of the 10,000 degrees, it makes a telephone pole with a mushroom on top, and then you get 200-mile-an-hour winds out. And so one suitcase nuke in downtown Dallas would not destroy the whole city, but it would destroy the whole city because then nobody wants to live there, nobody wants to buy any products from Dallas because they're afraid it's radiated.
Right.
So he says that there was actually 800 suitcase nukes made in Israel, and they thought that 250 of them possibly had been smuggled into America.
Wow.
Then he downgraded it to 50. Now, other prophecies have said it's actually 35. Do I know how many? No, I don't, but I'm just giving you the best information I have. So let's try to imagine we have, say, 35 suitcase nukes hidden all over America. Dana Coverstone, which I think is a pretty respected guy, began getting dreams from the Lord back just before COVID. And he had one of his dreams where he saw men, and he didn't even know about the suitcase nukes. He's seeing something, he don't even understand what he's seeing. He says, I saw men wearing these dark suits and black SUVs, and they were carrying these suitcases. He says, it looks kind of like that football, that the president carries around, He says, it looked like a suitcase bomb, is what he said. And I said, do you know about the suitcase? No, I don't know about suitcase nukes. Okay, so there's anyway, roughly, the prophecy says there's 35 of them all across America. Now, how do we know when they set off? That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I explain this? You understand, it takes me 10 hours. I'm trying to squeeze 10 hours of information down into 10 minutes.
Right, I understand.
So I'm having to filter it. What do I say, what do I not say? Jason Meeks had a dream, and he's one of many, and he said he saw that President Trump was back in charge.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't necessarily see that it was an election. Now we know that Dmitry Duduman was told there'd be an internal revolution in America. And we also know that Henry Gruber was shown that when Donald Trump returns, it will be as a king, not as a president.
Okay.
But as a king. Now, president has limited power according to what the people give him.
Sure.
But a king, like Nebuchadnezzar, whom he would, he slew.
Yeah.
Whom he
Full
would, he kept
control.
alive. That's right, okay?
Yeah.
So he returns as king. He says, and when they announced that Trump was back in charge, he said, I mean, it was like after VE Day, after World War II was over, he said there was rejoicing and dancing in the streets. He said, and then suitcase nuke went off.
Yeah.
I had a dream where I was shown that a sophisticated group of people, and I didn't know about suitcase, it didn't connect it then to suitcase nukes, with sophisticated bombs would set these bombs off all across America, and one of them would be set off in a regional bank, and it would destroy all the bank records and their backups. I didn't understand why that would be to their benefit until after Hurricane Katrina. People went to the bank, I got some money in the bank, well, we lost all our records in the flood.
Right.
Now, if you can prove you got money in the bank, we're happy to give it to you. But guess what? Most of the people couldn't prove
Most
that.
couldn't, right.
So that means the bankers got to keep the money. So it's a wonderful way to keep, I mean, and it threw America into a terrible tailspin financially. Okay, so what else do I want to talk about?
I'm going to back up just for a second. You were talking about the suitcase bombs. I don't care that there's 35. If there's one, that's too many. Because, you know,
That's
let's just say that if somebody was to set off one in Times Square, for instance, or one in downtown Dallas, or one in Los Angeles,
Our world's
California.
changed.
Yeah, everything changes in an instant.
Yeah.
But 35 or 30 or 25,
Yeah.
you are looking at devastation.
Yes,
you
right.
are looking at the fall of America.
Well, that's not the worst news.
Oh, thank you for that.
You wanted, well, the worst news is Dimitri Duduman. Now, Revelation 18, specifically, the angel spoke to Dimitri Duduman and said that would be talking about America. And let me back up and tell you about that. So, who's Dimitri Duduman? Do you know that name?
I do not.
Okay, well, I'll fill you in.
Okay.
Here's the short skinny. He was a Romanian pastor.
Okay.
He smuggled Bibles into Romania and Russia for some 30 years.
Okay.
They arrested him. They couldn't catch him smuggling the Bibles, but they arrested him, put him through 5 months of torture, culminating in them putting him on the electric chair twice. He said, as I was on the electric chair, he said, pins and needles were going all through my body. I thought I was going to die. He said, well, I thought I was going to die. I hollered out, God, don't let me down. He said, about that time, the whole room lit up with white light, and there's the angel Gabriel. Okay, get this picture. So electricity is going through his body. The angel Gabriel shows up and says, you're not going to die. You're going to America to give them a warning from God. Plead the blood of Jesus. So he started saying, Singulelu Jesus, Singulelu Jesus, which is Romanian for the blood of Jesus. I woke up on the floor, they're pouring water on me and slapping him around. They put him back on the electric chair the next day, couldn't kill him. Turned the ball away, couldn't kill him. So, long story short, the angel came to him about 3 months later, healed him all up. And he says, now get busy, you have 4 more months, or you have 4 more years to carry Bibles. They will follow you step by step, but I'm going to be ahead, I'm going to blind their eyes, they won't be able to catch you. When they see they can't catch you, they're going to kick you out of your country. You're going to America to give them a warning from God. So that you know that I'm truly the angel of God. Now this is important. I'm going to tell you the year, month, day, and hour you will be exiled to America.
Wow.
July 22nd, 1984, 10 o'clock in the morning, 1984. Now that's specific. When he arrived in America, the angel came to him again. Get beside me. He said, I don't know what it was. It looked like a big pillow on fire. I stood beside the angel. Took and showed me all of California and New York, or California and Las Vegas and New York and Florida. You see what I've shown you? This is Sodom and Gomorrah, and one day it will burn. How will it burn? America's so powerful. He said the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America, started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries I can't remember will attack and defeat America in one day, in 1 hour. God will raise up China, Japan, many other nations. They'll go against the Russians to defeat the Russians. They'll back the Russians to the gates of Paris where they sign a peace treaty. But they make the Russians their leader. Under the leadership of the Russians, all the world goes down to attack Israel. Israel can't count on the help of Jews in America, so she cries for Messiah. Jesus returns in the clouds, it's Armageddon, and defeats the armies of the earth. Now, here's the important part. So that you know I'm truly the angel of God, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you tomorrow. And he told him several events, which I'll skip. But here's the point. He arrived in America August 3rd, 1984.
Okay.
The angel was very specific on what day he was going to be exiled to America.
Okay.
August 3rd, 1984, Nineveh was given how long? It rained for how many days and nights? 40 days? 40.
Oh.
Okay, so how many years is it from August 3rd, 1984?
84 to 24. Okay, I'm getting the point.
August
Yeah.
3rd? Now, I'm not saying that the internal
Right.
revolution is
I
going to start
understand.
August 3rd.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
They have not had heifers in Israel for almost 2,000 years. Could not find a red heifer.
Right.
Absolutely could not
Absolutely
find it.
not.
Now all of a sudden they started with 5, they got 4. One person said 3 are still approved. Whatever it is, the Israelis plan to sacrifice in other words, there's a lot of things about to happen. That's my point.
Right.
They're about to sacrifice a heifer on or before Passover, which is April 22nd, which is 17 days.
Right.
Okay. They haven't sacrificed animals in Israel for 2,000 years.
Right.
Daniel 9:27 says, and he, the Antichrist, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease.
Correct.
Well, they aren't sacrificing animals in Israel, but now they're about to start.
Right.
They're about to give the Palestinians a state. So what happens within this big land rearrangement of boundaries? What happens if Israel does give them a Palestinian state, but says...
I've got to break in. I'm sorry. I've got to do it because we're running out of time here.
Okay.
But I don't want to hear about this. If you have time,
Okay,
I want to hear about this, and we're going to carry you over for another
Okay.
half hour because, like you said, I am aware of what's going on with these red heifers right now. There are three that are confirmed, and actually 4. The 4th one is just not as red as the other ones. That's what I'm
Okay.
being told.
Okay.
One was disqualified. And also another thing that you briefly spoke on, I want to hear more about it, is this Palestinian state.
That's what I was about to get into.
Yeah, because right now in front of the United Nations, they are trying to establish that
the
state.
nation of Palestine, or Palestine, right.
Without the land, they want to make a country. Anyway, we're going to hear more about that in the second half of the show. My guest is Stan Johnson, and we'll tell you about his book, too, coming up.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. Germany is defending its support for Israel at the International Court of Justice. It's day 2 of the hearings in a case brought by Nicaragua, claiming Germany's military arms exports to Israel are enabling genocide and breaching international humanitarian law. Abby Thronson is in Brussels with more.
A German legal representative called Nicaragua's presentation biased. Germany has been one of Israel's closest allies and one of the biggest providers of arms to the country. Nicaragua says it makes Germany complicit in Israel's alleged breaches in international law. On Monday, lawyers for Nicaragua told the judges that Germany was and is fully aware the weapons they provided to Israel could be used to commit genocide. Nicaragua has requested provisional measures from the court to order Germany to suspend its arms delivery and aid to Israel. It's also asking for Germany to resume funding to a UN aid agency. Abby Thronson, Brussels.
The EU's Climate Observatory says last month was the planet's hottest March ever recorded. In its latest update, the Copernicus Climate Change Service also revealed that every single month in the last 10 has been record-breaking. Our Europe correspondent Giles Gibson has the details.
Between April last year and the end of March, Copernicus says the world's average temperature was 1.58 degrees Celsius higher than the pre-industrial average. That 12 months also represent the hottest 12-month period the EU's Climate Change Service has ever recorded. Under the 2015 Paris Agreement, world leaders pledged to keep the global temperature rise under 2 degrees Celsius. Senior officials from Copernicus say these long-term trends that they're identifying, with temperature records broken month after month, are very concerning, and that they show our climate is changing rapidly. Giles Gibson, Rome.
Niger's ruling junta is doubling down on its demand that US troops withdraw from the country, dealing a blow to Washington's security interests in the Sahel. Last month, the military leader of the West African nation ordered US troops to leave after ending a military agreement. Correspondent Ajak Mangut reports from neighboring Nigeria.
Niger's military junta earlier in a statement at the weekend said the country had not benefited from the US military deal, which it described as a false bargain. The military agreement had allowed U.S. military personnel to operate from Niger, which plays a central role in the U.S. military's operations in the Sahel region. According to a White House report to Congress, the U.S. military had some 650 personnel working in Niger in December, but the military junta has accused the U.S. of exploiting Niger and interfering in its internal affairs and seeking to control its foreign relations. U.S. authorities have downplayed Niger's rejection of the military agreement and said talks between the two countries were continuing. Ajak Mangut, Abuja.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
And I want to welcome everybody back. My guest today, Mr. Stan Johnson. And let me tell you, you have piqued my interest. But I've also got to tell you this. You're scaring me to death. You know, I mean, what's going on right now? Well, okay.
Well, let me say something about that.
Okay.
Why did God give us Revelation? The book of Revelation. It wasn't to scare us. It's so that when we got slapped in the face, we were prepared.
Yeah. Well, I used
so
the
this
wrong
is what
word.
this is.
I used the wrong word.
It scares us,
Yeah.
yes, but it scares us to be prepared.
Right. Because honestly, before you get going here, honestly, I'm not scared. I know no matter what happens to me on this earth, I'm only a visitor. I'm only a visitor here. My home is in heaven. So if God calls me through disaster, I'm good with that. If God calls me home in a rapture of the church, I'm good with that. If God calls me home in any way, shape, or form, I'm good with that.
I think that, well, as I said, tell them I will never leave them nor forsake them. In other words, whatever happens, God is going to be with us, and He is going to take care of us. The scriptures say that He will never put us into a test that we can't be successful. He will never back us into a corner where there's no way out. It's because with that, He'll also provide a way of escape. Meaning, matter of fact, one night in my prayer closet, I said, Lord, it's not fair that Dimitri gets all of this stuff and, all of these messages and everything, and I am not getting as many as Dimitri. Maybe I could be like going through some kind of big torture or something. He said, you couldn't handle it. You couldn't handle it. And I thought, hey, he's right. He's right.
Well,
in other words, God won't put us through anything we can't handle.
I told this to a friend of yours, Mr. David Paxton, not too long ago. We were talking about Job, and I said, that's one guy in the Bible I wouldn't have wanted to be.
Yeah.
That's one guy, and you kind of touched on that really quick there. But let's get back to this, okay? I want you to get
Palestinian state.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Palestinian
so
state.
all right, so the newspaper headline was Omer ushers in Palestinian state. Now, in case you missed the first one, in 2006, she was given 7 newspaper headlines which lead to the fall of America. The first one was Omer ushers in Palestinian state. Now, we think the word Omer is talking about the counting of the Omer, which is the 49 days between first fruits and Passover. This year, first fruits is on April 25th, Passover is on June 13th, which means that if Israel gives the Palestinians a state, it will most likely be, and if it is this year, it will most likely be between April 25th and June 13th.
Okay.
Now, in that Palestinian state, I think that there's a high probability that Israel will not only give them a Palestinian state, but they'll say, okay, we'll give you a Palestinian state, but there's a couple of things we want too. We want access to the Temple Mount. We haven't had access to the Temple Mount in almost 2,000 years.
Okay.
We want, why? Because they've got red heifers.
Right.
They want to sacrifice them.
Right.
They want to start animal sacrifice again. Well, why do they want to start animal sacrifice again? Because they don't believe in Jesus, which is obviously a big mistake.
Right.
But Daniel 9:27 says, and he, the he is Antichrist, and he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease.
Right.
So what it's saying is, in the middle of the tribulation, the Antichrist is going to go in and sit on the Ark of the Covenant, the real, genuine, Moses-made Ark of the Covenant that's 3,200 years old.
Wow.
It has been found, according to Ron White, in 1982. So they'll bring that out, and they'll erect a temple. The Antichrist, the leader of the world, the devil's son, will go in and sit on the Ark of the Covenant. 2 Thessalonians 2:4, he sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. You're familiar with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So part of that is, I think they're going to say, well, we want access to our temple area back. We want to be able to build the temple again. And here's another question. See, every prophecy student has read in Daniel 9:27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Okay, is that saying that the last 7 years, or the 7 years we refer to as the tribulation, starts with the peace treaty? Well, a lot of people think it does start with the peace treaty, but that's not what it says. It says, he simply says he'll confirm the covenant. Didn't say he started it, didn't say he was original, he didn't say he wrote it. He just confirmed it. So what if the Palestinian state is the confirmation of the covenant? You hadn't thought of that. Okay, now there's a third thing. So what if given the Palestinians a state, causes the newspaper headline, Omer ushers in Palestinian state, gives Israel access to the Temple Mount, they sacrifice a red heifer, they start animal sacrifice in Israel again, and what's the fourth thing? I know the next one is catastrophe hits America. I've got 14 people that have been given dreams and visions and angel visits, all warnings from God saying if America splits Israel, God is going to split America. And they've been shown the Great Lakes will split right down the Mississippi River Valley. One said there would be a 50-mile patch of water between east and west. The Mississippi River would be 50 miles wide.
Wow.
Okay. Now, in February of 2014, we had Ephraim Rodriguez, a prophet from Puerto Rico, come in and speak at the Prophecy Club. Again, you can watch that live or instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. Watchprophecyclub.com. It's called Catastrophe something. Look up catastrophe. Anyway, he said he had had a vision of a meteor that hits Mona Island, which is a little deserted island just west of Puerto Rico. And it causes a 1,000-foot-high tsunami at Puerto Rico, but it then goes up the eastern seaboard anywhere from 200 to 400 feet high, and it goes inland anywhere from 20 to 25 miles inland. But where it hits is an earthquake fault, and that earthquake fault runs right up the Mississippi River Valley, right up to the Great Lakes. And it will open the Great Lakes up all the way down to the Mississippi and cause large chunks of California, from California all the way up into Alaska, to break off and fall into the oceans. Maurice Sklar says, I saw it just like breaking a saltine cracker. Large chunks of California just fell into the ocean, just like that. Now, August the 8th of 2015, Saturday night, I covered this in the earlier part, Lord, what do you want to say for the sermon tomorrow morning? And I heard words. It said, as the judgment, it says, this is the time of miracles. As the judgment hits, so are my miracles. Miracles like no one has ever seen, going all the way back to Adam and Eve. You tell them, I will never leave them nor forsake them, and I'm going to meet the devil, inch for inch, step for step, pound for pound, everything he does, I'm going to meet him. Didn't say he's going to defeat him, not until Armageddon. Anyway, so there's a very good possibility. So what if? In the process of giving the Palestinians a state, they also give temple access to the Israelis. And that allows animal sacrifice. What if that is also the signing of the covenant that starts the tribulation, the last 7-year countdown?
Wow.
Okay. What if? Now, did I say it is? No, I don't.
No,
I don't know.
You didn't.
I want to make that clear.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying any of this is going to happen.
Right.
But then we split America. 14 prophecies say if we split Israel, God is going to split America. So, and Shane Warren was shown that the thing that starts the great end-time revival is an earthquake in America, the New Madrid earthquake specifically. So I'm saying by the end of the year, we could see the greatest revival in human history. They came to me and said, are we going to do another sevenfold miracle crusade this year? Because, we do crusades. We've done 70 of them, okay?
Oh, wow.
And I said, it's just not here. No. I said, I think what's
Can
coming.
it be stopped?
Yes. Will it be stopped is the question.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the 14 warnings were that. They're not prophecies saying it's going to come. They're warnings saying, don't touch the apple of my eye.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
He's saying, if America's, but do you think Biden is listening?
No.
No. Now, I shout at the top of my lungs, and even you, this is the first time you've heard some of this today.
Right.
Because Prophecy Club, we're being shadow banned. We can't get the word out. But God is going to arrange for it to get out. Maybe I should tell you that. 25 years ago, I was drifting to sleep one evening, and I thought about it before I said anything. And I just said, Lord, I just want to say that I love you more than my wife, more than my children, more than ministry, more than life, more than the beat of my heart and the breath of my lungs, and fell off to sleep. That was the first night I heard God speak to me audibly. And I heard the audible voice of God, and it sounded like I was in a sphere. The voice came from all directions. I've never heard anything like it in my life. And it said, I'm giving you part of the harvest from the seeds sown by Billy Graham. Then a spear appeared in my hand, a sword, held up with two hands. I could spin in any direction. And up and to my right, a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of white paper appeared, and one side was kind of bent down. I took the spear and I cut off about a third of the paper. And as I cut it off, that part just turned to a waterfall. And I believe what he's saying is he's given me his word to cut off and bring into the kingdom about the third the number of souls that he gave Billy Graham. In 1997, Dimitri Duduman died, and I was very upset. So I said, cancel everything. I've got to just get away. I got to go fast and pray. I mean, even today I start getting emotional talking about it. So I grabbed me a bunch of distilled water jugs, and I went out to a little cabin, friends of mine, and I just read the Bible and prayed for a week. And I woke up on the morning of the 6th day into a vision, and I saw myself in a parking lot. I believe it was Kansas City, where the Kansas City Chiefs play. And I was walking in there. I knew that somehow I'd just come from a TV interview where the lady was wearing a green dress, and she asked me the question, why is it you have so many miracles at your meetings? Why is it you have so many miracles at your meetings? I was walking on, I knew I'd organized the meeting. I was in charge of it. I would be one of the people speaking, and I knew that it was going to be packed with people coming in, where people would be running down out of the stands onto the gridiron with big tears in their eyes, giving their heart to Jesus.
Right.
And the people coming in knew that they would be monitored and tracked, but they didn't care. They were coming for Jesus. And then I had another, I can talk for a long time, So yes, we're going to be in sports stadiums. And I think that I'm not saying it happened, don't put words in my mouth.
There you go.
I'm not saying it happens by the end of this year, but I'm saying I'm giving it a 90% chance that we could be in a great revival, and that revival comes not because of man, but because God hits America, because we split Israel. We split Israel, God's going to split America, and the great revival is going to hit.
The
and
big
probably
question
by the
I
end of
got
this year.
for you right now, though, as far as Israel goes in the Temple Mount, how will the Palestinians, do you see them accepting it? Is this the world coming down on them saying, you've got to accept the fact that Israel is going to be up there? Because, the Palestinians they don't want anything happening to that Al-Aqsa Mosque or the Gold Dome or any of that stuff. How does that play into this, or do you know?
I do.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't know what the Palestinians are going to say or do. But Ken Klein has done some extensive research on archaeology, and he says that the Wailing Wall that they think is the western wall of the temple is not the western wall of the temple.
Okay.
He says that's actually an outside wall of the Fort Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Antonia, you can say it right.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that for them to rebuild the temple in the correct place, they do not have to tear down the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Oh, okay.
You remember in Revelation 11 it says, "And I was given a reed, and the angel stood and said, Rise." I memorized the book of Revelation, okay?
Right.
Rise and measure the temple and the altar, and then the worship therein. But the court that is without, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. So that's saying that the big court, give that to the Gentiles. In other words, people that are not Jews.
Right.
So because of that scripture, they don't have to tear down the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Okay.
They can erect the temple. Now, here's another thing. Is it going to be a stone temple, or is it going to be the tabernacle? Because Vendell Jones is, long story, said he found the tabernacle of Moses. I talked to him on the phone years and years ago. He's gone to be with the Lord now. And I said, well, wait a minute. Tabernacle of Moses, that would be old and dilapidated. You just touch it and it falls to ashes now, right? 3,200 years later. He says, not so. He says, it's made of wool. It's as good today as it was put into the cave.
Wow.
And he says, all they have to do is bring out that, lay it on the ground, because in the days of Moses, the power of God entered into it and lifted it up. And that's one of the miracles that was constant. They didn't have, so I don't know if the Spirit of God will hold it up or if they have to prop it up. But we do know that he sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So we do know that the temple is going to go back up. We do know that a sacrifice is going to start again. And here they are with the red heifers about to start animal sacrifice in our lifetime.
Yeah. And those are, by the way, for those of you that follow the Last Christian show that I do, you know that the red heifers came from here in Texas.
Rockwall, Texas.
5 of them.
About an hour from where we sat.
Yeah, and they are there, and they have qualified at least 3 of them, and they only need 1. Is that correct?
Correct.
So they were looking at doing this. I know they were looking at doing this on Passover. I know they were. But the government is not so in tune with letting them do it now. But that doesn't really mean anything. When God wants something to happen, believe me, it's going to happen.
So, what you want to get is this book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. So let me explain. In 2017, God had me to memorize the book of Revelation. This is where I wrote out the book of Revelation. As you can see, I'm holding it up there.
Yes, sir.
That's my writing. I wrote it out, and you can get a copy of this. It has all of my notes on there. Anyway, so I memorized the book of Revelation. I didn't think anything special was going to happen, but something special did start happening.
Okay.
I started getting revelations. I mean, just wisdom just jumped into my head like I'd never had in my life. And he showed me a secret door. One word, the word first fruits, found in Leviticus 23:10 and Revelation 14:4. And that one word links the feasts of Leviticus 23 to the prophecies in Revelation, so that for the first time we can have everything line up correctly and understand the book of Revelation. And I wrote it in this book. In the back of the book, it has these charts. That's the last 7 months. This is the last 7 years in these charts. So I had 30 revelations, 2 visions, and 1 audible voice. The audible voice said the 7 seals, these are seals, the 7 seals play over 7 years. The 7 trumpets play over 7 months. The 7 vials play over the last 7 years. And one of the visions also told me to write a book, but he says, because some things cannot be understood just audio and video. They have to see it written down. And that's the reason you want to go to prophecyclub.com and get this book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. Now, let me just say, I do not think that this is on the anointing level of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But I know it's not on the anointing level of Stan Johnson. I was under supernatural anointing to write this book. I think that this book will one day sell millions of copies because it is the one book you can pick up even if you don't know anything about Bible prophecy, even if you're not even a Christian, if you've never even read the Bible, you can pick up this book and read it and understand the last days and understand Bible prophecy, along with the charts and everything, and along with the prophecies I was just talking to you about, and Dimitri Duduman's testimony. prophecyclub.com. Go there, get the book. Now, there's also, I'll say this, don't just get one. You can get one for $20, but there's like 5 of them for $35. There's even an offer up there where you can get 40 books for $100.
Wow.
A whole shrink wrap set of 40 books for $100. That's the best thing. And if you want to teach Bible prophecy, if you are a teacher of Bible prophecy, you want to order the Watchman's package. That's with big 2 by 3 foot charts. And you also get a copy of this book. And this is,
There you go.
bump the
You're fine.
copy of this book. This is where I wrote out the book of Revelation.
Amen.
So you can see I wrote it out. As a matter of fact, since I'm there, I'll show you something.
Okay.
So I thought, first of all, I didn't think I could get past the first chapter. I must have read the whole book. So I thought, okay, I need myself a motivation point. Okay, maybe I can just memorize half of it, okay? So I took out all the numbers and all of the chapter and all the just text. I wanted to know what was exactly the dead center, the very center word of Revelation, and my goal was to at least make it halfway through. So I found out this X here, right? Get it here where you can see it. That X.
Yeah.
Yep, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, okay.
Let me get my finger here where you
Yeah.
can see it. That X
There you
right
go. Uh-huh.
there.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
That is the center of Revelation.
Okay.
Now I put it up here, see where it says Revelation, this is chapter 12,
Right.
and then you go down, here's verse 9. So 12:9, now the very center word is dragon. Phew, wait a minute. I thought Jesus would be the center of Revelation. It's not. As a matter of fact, Revelation is not about Jesus. Here it is. It says, the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. Meaning the point of Revelation is the casting out of devil out of heaven, out of our lives. That's the whole point of Revelation.
Right.
Because you go to the center word of a chapter, it tells you the point of that chapter. You go to the center word of a verse, it tells you the point of that verse. You go to the center word of the book of Revelation, it tells you that it is a book by Jesus about the defeat of his enemy.
Right. Right.
Isn't that cool?
That is really cool. That is really cool. It is, I'm going to buy a copy of it.
Well, here's what people say. I'll tell you another little story.
Okay.
So I'm signing books at one of our crusades, and this lady, red-haired lady, walks up and she says, I'll tell you something. She says, I'm an avid reader. I read 2 or 3 books every week, and I have all my life. And she says, I got your skinny little book in the mail, and I thought I'll blow through that in 3 hours. She says, that was 2 weeks ago. She says, now, it's not complicated, it's just deep, because to understand the whole end times, there's all kinds of books written about it.
Right.
But here's what it is. They're right, okay, here's a little chunk of it. They show you this book, shows you a little chunk of it. A little chunk of it here, a little chunk of it.
Right.
But this book is the whole book. One book where you can finally understand all of the end times. And since we're all about to be in there, I think this book will sell millions. I think it will top.
And I think it's timely, because I am under the firm opinion that we are on borrowed time right now. That is my personal opinion.
Yes, but
okay?
you're not just personal opinion. It's right. God has delayed the judgment several times, but now several times he has said, no more delays. No more delays. It's now started. That's what, for years, I mean, actually it was supposed to start back in 2000, delayed. And there was like a lot, 2015, the summer of 2015, there was a lot of prophecy saying it's about to stop, and then all of a sudden, nothing. And it was delayed. Well, now they're saying no more delays. It's now here.
Yeah.
Of course, when you got red heifers, you got Israel about to start an animal sacrifice for the first time in 2,000 years, it's here.
Yeah, that's a good clue, and now I've said this to several people, and I think America's going to pick the wrong team. Now, that's my opinion, and what I mean by that is that, for instance, our president right now is seemingly siding with the United Nations, with
the devil.
Everybody he can think of except Israel, and then dictating to Israel what they're going to do, except Benjamin Netanyahu's not going to follow the lead. And I think that we're going to choose to follow the worldview over Israel.
You just answered the question earlier that we got away from. You said, is there a possibility to stop all this?
Right.
And the answer is yes. If my 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people called by my name will humble themselves and turn from the wicked ways and seek my face, I'll hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal their land.
Amen.
But many of the prophecies say, let me explain the difference between a warning and a prophecy. A prophecy is something that God has written in his Bible, and that is going to come to pass.
Right.
And that's not going to be changed. Now, a warning is saying, like, America, if you split Israel, I'm going to split you.
Right.
That's a warning.
Yes.
But we got 14 of those warnings. So right now God is screaming at us, but the right people are not listening. I pray that Donald Trump would call me and say, Stan, I understand you have something to tell me. Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah.
Well, tell me. Okay, I will tell you, but what we really need to do is spend a couple of days in front of a Bible.
Yes.
Okay, I really need to tell you what is really coming, and you really need to listen. Because a lot of times...
Stan, we are running really low.
Running out of time again.
We're running out of time, and what I want to do is give you an opportunity to, once again, remember that a lot of this stuff, we're on video right now, and the video will be out there, but more people are going to hear this audio than they see the video. Please give them the website address, the book, where to get it, and all that kind of stuff, okay? And
Okay.
see how much time we got.
Okay, first of all, I think I would send you to the App Store or to Google Play, download our app called Prophecy Club. That way you can follow us every day. Second thing, I would send you to prophecyclub.com, PROPHECYCLUB, prophecyclub.com. And there's an offer up there to get 40 books for $100. That's the best deal that I think we've ever had. You want to get that. I would also send you over to watchprophecyclub.com, because we had 160 guest speakers making 330 DVDs over 25 years, and most every one of those DVDs are now posted. You can watch them instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. It's $20 a month or $200 a year, and I even think now they got a special going on it for even lower. Prophecyclub.com or watchprophecyclub.com. Now, I've written 4 books. This is the most important one. Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. I've also written another one out there on Miss the Mark. That's the #1 seller, actually. And in there, it shows you what the mark of the beast is going to look like, and also the number of his name. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on the right hand or in the forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for is the number of a man, his number is 666. And that shows you what the mark of the beast is. And there's some other books, and I see we are out of.
Yes, we are. And I do want to thank you so much for being a part of the show. You got my interest, and I want to have you back on in the future. And I'll leave it at that.
Thanks again for joining us today for the Last Christian Radio Show. And be sure to tune in every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday right here and at www.lastchristian.net. Until the trumpet sounds.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.